While you are distressed with the illness of a family member or friend, you can just take care of them. That is, the rest will be handled by the TPA. You don't have to pay directly to the third-party administrator. To put it across to the TPA, what we have to do relevant is that share that immense knowledge of healthcare services. It is very, very important. What is the role of the TPA in the healthcare insurance segment? Good morning and welcome to the fourth session in Unit 5, Principles and Practice of General Insurance, where we are going to talk about the TPAs, that is the claim forms, investigation and assessment. This is going to be the concluding session of how a third-party administration comes into in terms of claiming. So the first thing here is that a third-party administrator is a body that processes the insurance claim under the admissible for especially for a Mediclaim policy. So in general, these administrators are independent but can also act as an entity to the insurers in terms of the, when they are licensed by the IRDAI body altogether. So what is this all about? Why are these people becoming important altogether? Now, for example, in a Mediclaim policy, there are some third-party agents. When I say the word third-party agents, these are people who are outside the scope of the company. They normally tend to work in terms of the IRDAI regulations. They are people who try to understand the policies from outside the purview altogether. So what do they typically tend to do here is that they will tend to understand what are all the factors that are within the limit, within the norms in order to process the claim. Because they are third parties, they will go through the situation, they will understand what has to be taken into picture, how much can we, permit the company in terms of processing the claim, and then they will be going in terms of processing it, followed by the relevance of a third-party administrator. So whenever you say a third-party administrator, they will take care of the hospital bills and other expenses. So while you are distressed with the illness of a family member or friend, you can just take care of them. That is, the rest will be handled by the TPA. Now, in a given scenario, it is so evident that whenever we go to an hospital and with the situation given there, you are tensed about what is going to happen. Now, it might be to your friend, to your family member, or to a near and dear, but then you are completely stuck by that particular incident. So you do not know whether to take care of the bills or to take care of the patient. So at that given point of time, you need a person who can console you, who can comfort you and tell you that yes, we are there to take care of the bills, we are there to take care of the situation. You please do not worry about this. We will be going forward and helping you out. So in that relevance, in that context, we have a person called as the third-party administrator. So the third party will come forward, will look into the situation and start telling you how to take forward in case of that situation given to you. Now, followed by every insurance company appoints a third-party administrator for your service. So in case of a medical bill, in case of some processing claims, the hospital bills or emergency documentation or any other factor, every insurance company will try to appoint a person called as the third-party administrator. Now, this third-party administrator is only linked to the insurance company. He does not get linked to you. So, in any point of time, you don't have to pay directly to the third-party administrator. The company will take care of it. You just have to call him, tell him that this is the situation, this is why we have been into the problem. So they will come forward, they will understand the scenario and they will help you out at the given point of time. Now, the other thing is that a third party can either approve for a cashless settlement claim or reimburse it later. Now, there are two forms that you have to understand when you walk into the hospital. The first kind is what we say is cashless claim. You will be given a card from the insurance company. That might be an ICICI Lombard or a HDFC Standard Life Ergo, or when you are going to talk about any other companies like Apollo Munich or Bharti AXA Life altogether. So what they typically do is that they will give you a cashless card which will be presented at the counter so that you can make a claim for this factor. Or normally what they will do is that you have to pay the bills initially and probably you can reimburse it later. Now, but in a case of a complaint or a query, it will be the health of the policy holder directly connect with the TPA in case of any serious situation or emergency that is being created. What we will tend to do is that we will tend to create a query, a situation where you will directly get connected to the third party and you will be able to claim it all of a sudden. So that's where we will be able to go forward. We will be able to tell you that this is the situation. So please go ahead and make the best use of it in terms of understanding it. So this is very, very important for all of us at this given point of time, that you find out how it needs to be done, what it needs to be taken at that particular juncture, and you will be able to get the value automatically there. Now, the next thing is that for the insured, and the connection will always be in between them, and there will be the insurer only. This summarizes, we can put it across in terms of the relevancy. Now, what we tend to do is that share the immense knowledge of the healthcare services, which is very, very important, improvise the quality of the services, manage and investigate the claim, observe the cashless reimbursement of the TAT. So this is very, very important for all of us to understand at this juncture, at this point. It's very, very relevant. Why? Let me just put across to you in this way. For the insured, the connection will always be between them and the insuree only. So we do not know. To put it across to the TPA, what we have to do relevant is that share that immense knowledge of healthcare services. It is very, very important because they will tell you, specialized in that particular juncture, in that particular situation, how is the healthcare system works and what are all the claims procedure altogether. Followed by, they will help you to improvise the quality of services, where and all we can go and how the insurance company can improve the services factor altogether. They will help you to manage and investigate the claim factor. So you will be able to understand how to investigate, what are the situations, how we need to do it, what are all the relevancies, the factors here to be claimed. So that is also being done very, very clearly here. Followed by observing the cashless and reimbursement TAT. That's the turnaround time which we are typically talking about it. So you will have to share the knowledge, the immense knowledge and the factor. Also, you will be able to observe how the claims have been done, how we need to take around the time factor. So how one can understand from the given factor, from the given scenario here. The next thing is that what is the role of the TPA in the healthcare insurance segment? TPA will play a very vital role in the total processing of the healthcare insurance. In the practical world of insurance, there are some jobs of TPA which we are going to refer. Now, in any of the mediclaim sector, in the medical sector altogether, you will have a person called as the third-party insurer who plays a very, very significant role. Why? Because they are the people who actually process the healthcare insurance claims, and these are the people in a practical sense, they understand at what levels this insurance has to be taken, how it has to be looked in, what are all the features, and how this, the entire process has to be enhanced and given. So some of the roles that we might be looking into here is, for every policy issued to the policy holder, a validation process will be carried. Very, very important. Let me mark it here. There is a validation process. So when I use that word validation, that means we will go through a series of checking. We will first make you go through that factor of whether who is the person, is the claim perfect, all those things. It is accomplished by issuing an authorized health card. So definitely we will issue an authorized health card after the validation is being completed. This card will hold the details in terms of the policy number, wherever it has been told, the TPA responsibility, the claims processing, and all those factors. So you will be going through that situation completely in terms of understanding it, how it has to be done, what has to be taken into procedure, and all those factors. Next, at the time of admission to the hospital, the insured will be produced this card, and the occurrence factor, the claim factor, whether the insurance has to be taken, whether this person can come under that particular policy, is he eligible, what are all the factors that we have to look through, whether that documents provided are clear, what documents are needed during the claim processing. All those factors will be looked in by the third-party administrator. So there is quite an amount of work that one has to understand for a third-party administrator, because he knows how exactly the claim is being done and how exactly we need to look in for this kind of activity. Followed by the smooth claim processing and settlement. The TPA is responsible to expedite the claim as soon as it is intimated by the insured. So their job is to check all documents are submitted in favor of the claim. So whatever has been done, has it been submitted, has they have done every processing clearly, all those factors will be looked in here. And it can even ask for much information as needed across to verify the details. So it is very, very important that the details are verified, seen that whether the settlement claim has been done, it has been processed, any kind of cashless reimbursement has been done on that basis. All those calculation will be done by the third party administrator. So it is very, very important at this juncture that they are able to first look into the claim, check it up whether it is there on the point, expedite all the documents, and whatever is there in favor of the claim will be processed by the company. Now, whichever might be the case, the TPA will be liable to check all the documents. So the first thing is that you need to check for all the documents. In the case of a cashless, the TPA will collect the documents from the hospital. So in the case of a cashless claim, what is going to happen is that the third-party administrator will first go ahead and claim the cash from that particular department. So they will say that this is what is the scenario. So they will go ahead and take the claim altogether there. Followed by, in other cases, the TPA can ask for supporting papers documentation. So what is going to happen there is that they will ask you the supporting paper documentation. They will say that these are the factors. So please provide us these situation very clearly as what it is and how it is. Give us all the documentation procedure as far as possible. So we will be able to take up the claim factor clearly there. So that's how they will be looking in terms of the claim processing of that factors. Now, followed by which we would come to the conclusion of this particular session. So with this, I would like to come to the end of this particular session. I hope and believe that all the factors that have been spoken about the claim procedure will be of a great help and resource to you. With that, we come to the end of the principles and practice of general insurance and the various factors and policies associated with this particular subject. I hope and believe that all the knowledge shared will be of a great use both in practicality and in the theory aspect. Thank you once again for joining me today on this wonderful session.